So, I'm picking back up where I left off, but I was just telling the guys that it's really important to really listen to your woman, listen to your wife, listen to your girlfriend, and really, really listen to what she's saying. Sometimes people can say one thing, but what are they really saying? And don't always try to take the defensive approach, trying to defend yourself as if you're under attack and this person is trying to attack you. Everything is not about an argument. Everything is not about just because your woman comes to you with a concern. It's not that she is saying, not that it's not always about an argument. It's not that she's trying to open up the floor for an argument or for a fight or anything just because she's expressing concern. And it interests me when a woman, goes to a man with a concern. It doesn't matter what the concern is, and it becomes an argument, as if a debate. Like she makes a statement, and he has to come back what her statement is, and it just becomes this boxing match for what? Like if you're supposed to be friends, right? Like when you're in love and you're dating and you're married, at the core, you're friends, right? So, as a friend, wouldn't you want to hear what your friend has to say? Like, wouldn't you want to hear, what a person thinks? Regardless if you think it's negative or positive or whatever, just listen to what a person is saying. Hear a person out. And I think a lot of times people jump to conclusions before time and emotions get involved. And a lot of times people don't have a good handle on their emotions, which that's a whole nother video. But just to kind of go back to the whole, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, as John Gottman calls them, or basically the four main predictors of divorce. Defensiveness is not necessarily good, unless you're defending your partner, on their behalf. That's one thing. But if you walk around with this coat on that you feel like this is your protector, this is your guard, and you always have to defend yourself against your partner, something is wrong, and that is a telltale sign that something is wrong. And if it continues, the relationship is not going to last. It's not going to last, because think about it. If you're always having to defend yourself, feeling the need like you have to defend yourself against your partner and what they're saying, your partner might as well be your enemy, right? Like you're not no longer your friend. I don't understand. So, I think that what's really needed is that, couples need to know how to love each other and find ways to communicate better to each other so it doesn't result in boxing matches. Learn how to listen. And a lot of it stems from, how we were raised as children, the kind of communication that existed in our homes where we were raised. So, it makes perfect sense why some people, communicate in maladaptive ways when they were raised in an environment where there wasn't much healthy communication between their mother and their father. There was a lot of what you see in their relationship, their current relationship, was manifested in their parents' relationship. And they also say that there is a correlation between parental marital divorce or separation and the likelihood that their children will also get married and end up divorcing, because history has a tendency to repeat itself. So if you take a look at your parents' relationship, and I'm not talking about everyone. Like some people say, oh, well, that's not everybody. That's Please, when a person is speaking in regards to an issue or topic, understand we're talking generally speaking. So just because it doesn't apply to you or you feel like you disagree, fine. But I'm talking generally speaking. If you had a lot of conflict in growing up in your household, in your family household, and there was this tension between your mother and your father all the time, a lot of times that same energy, negative energy, transfers onto the children. And then they carry that. They grow, they develop. They a lot of times internalize certain emotions and insecurities based on their what they witness their parents go through. And believe it or not, the same thing happens in their relationship when these kids get older. So I think it's like really important to take note of not only ourselves, who we are as individuals, but look at our background, where we come from. That's why psychologists, counselors alike, we do a thorough assessment, during intake of clients to see not only what their presentation is and the problem that they're coming into therapy for, but to take a look at the background, the family background, because the family background can say so much about an individual and about a person. If a person's father was an alcoholic, for instance, it can shed a lot of light on that person and their drinking behavior, the son of the alcoholic father. And it can be a problem if a person, a mother was bringing in men all the time around, you as a child. Let's say you are a kid who grows up in a single parent household where your mother had lots and lots of boyfriends and lots of men, perhaps because she had her own insecurities and she felt a void in her life that she needed to fill. So she sought it out from different men. And she brought all these different men in, a new man probably, each week or every other week. As a child, that's going to have an impact on you as a child, believe it or not, especially as a female. And if you grow up in a household like that as a female, there stands a very strong likelihood that you will repeat the same behavior. Perhaps you may not repeat the same behavior, but there stands a chance. And I think that's important to take a look at, our family background and how the relationship that our parents had and how that somehow is a reflection in our current relationships. So the last horseman of the apocalypse that John Gottman talks about, I almost forgot his last name because it's like the end of the day for me and I'm tired. I just met with my practicum advisor where I am getting ready to start exploring different internship sites around the Los Angeles area so that I can begin doing my practicum hours, where I will be working directly under the supervision of a licensed psychologist. I'll be getting training, clinical training that will prepare me to become a professional licensed psychologist. So I am really excited about that and looking forward to starting my internship site. They call it practicum for the second, third year, fourth year, and then the fifth year is the internship. So it's a lot, but yeah. So that explains like why I'm kind of tired and a little bit out of it. But the last one is stonewalling. And stonewalling is basically where you put up a wall. And I think some people have perfected this, like where they get mad at their partner, that wall goes up, and you can forget about it. You can forget trying to get anything across to that individual, trying to communicate anything, because at that point, the wall is up. So nothing is coming past that wall. Nothing is coming past that wall. And I think it's important to look at, how that has an impact on the communication in the relationship, because the wall basically happens in the context of communication. All of these four predictors of divorce and relationship breakup happens in the context of communication. So these are all kind of like communication factors. And when a person shuts down like that, psychologically, emotionally, where they just don't want to be open and available to their partner, you know that it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You might as well forget about it. And we're talking about, like, when this happens, I'm not talking about, like, when I mention these things, I'm not saying, like, okay, a one time occurrence. We're not talking about, like, a one time. We're talking about repeated behavior throughout a relationship. So whether it is contempt, criticism, defensiveness, or stonewalling, we're talking about repeatedly where you see these behaviors throughout a relationship. It happening constantly, or almost as if it's like the fabric of the relationship. Like, you can take a snapshot of the relationship and pretty much that's what you get. This is, that is a problem, and that's how you know that it's a wrap. And I think that relationships that have gotten to that point where people shut down, they don't have anything more to say, they don't want to listen to what their partner has to say, it's a warning sign. It's a huge warning sign to let you know. When I say warning sign, think of this. Think of the signs of when someone is about to deliver and to have a baby. Think about those labor pains. I mean, when those labor pains come and those contractions come, you know a baby is coming. Like, absolute certainty, a baby is coming. When the water breaks, when the contractions come, the closer the contractions are, and I don't have kids, by the way, but I know a lot about pregnancy and childbirth, and I've done so much research. Plus, I have a sister who has 4 kids, so I also help raise them. I know a lot about children, and in that, when a woman is about to deliver a baby, like, those signs, it's coming. And so when I speak of these predictors, these 4 predictors as signs of relationship breakup, it's like guaranteed, without a doubt, that relationship is on its way to hell. So ask yourself this. Are you or your partner contemptuous towards each other? Do you belittle each other, put each other down, use sarcasm to make the other person feel insignificant? Do you not take into account things that are important in the relationship? Do you kind of just brush it off like it's nothing? Do you criticize your partner a lot? Or does your partner criticize you a lot? And I'm not talking about just small confrontation where, you confront a certain thing that a person does occasionally here and there. I'm talking about constant criticism that irks at your fucking nerves. Defensiveness. Do you always feel a need to defend yourself in the relationship? That's a problem. And lastly, stonewalling. Have you or your partner shut down in the relationship? Is there a breakdown in communication, in other words? If there is, even if there's only 1 of 4 present in your relationship, you definitely should be concerned. Definitely. All 4 aren't necessarily needed, for a relationship to break up. These are signs, these are predictors. And if they are there, it's something that you should be concerned about. I will do another video about ways that couples can get help if they are having trouble in their relationship. I'll also do a few videos where I am giving some coaching tips for couples involved in relationships that have a little riffraff. Because my whole goal here is not to break people up, um, or necessarily to keep people together. My goal is focusing on, what's best for the couple themselves, and sometimes, is breaking up. That's the goal. It's about happiness and health and sanity and satisfaction for each individual in the relationship, whether that is staying together or parting ways. Sometimes we tend to look at relationship breakup or divorce as a bad thing, and that the optimum thing that we should do is stay together and love each other. But sometimes what's in the best interest for both people involved in the relationship is to actually go their separate ways and to focus on, personal things, individual problems that they may be facing. I can't stress this enough that until you are satisfied with who you are as an individual, there's absolutely no way you can fully love another individual in the way that they deserve to be loved. A lot of us are sitting around not happy with who we are, not happy with our life path, our career path, our trajectory in life. We're just not happy. We're not content with where we are. We feel guilty about some things we've done in the past. And we really need to take some time to ourselves to see what is it inside of me that is causing me to have this uneasy feeling inside, to not be happy with my life. What is it? What is it that I'm lacking? What is it that I need to get rid of? There is, it's possible for an individual to be happy with who they are alone. You don't need to be with someone else to be happy. If you do, that's a problem. I think the goal for couples, for people all together, when it comes to satisfaction, is to just find what makes you happy as a person outside of needing someone else. Find out who you are as an individual. And then once you are content with your life, then it's safe to invite someone else in and to share your life with them. But if you know that your ass and your life is jacked up and that you don't have things together financially, spiritually, with yourself, don't bring nobody else into that mess. Because things will begin to surface in a relationship that people as individuals tend to suppress. So whatever you've been dealing with as an individual, whether it's depression, low self-esteem, anxiety, addiction, whatever, finding a job, financial stability, having a relationship with your kids, you're having a healthy relationship with your mom or your dad. If you've been struggling with something as an individual on your own, and you go jump into a relationship saying, oh, I found this person and they're going to make my life great. My life is just going to be, oh my gosh, life is going to change because look who I found. They made my life. No one person can come in and fix your mess. Yes, love serves its purpose in people's lives, and love can give you a sense of feeling complete. It can give you a sense of, wholeness and happiness and satisfaction. But understand, you have to have that before you get in love. Like, it's best to have those things before you go out seeking it, so that you can bring something to the table. So I just say this because this video is about to end. Love yourself. Love yourself first before you go out trying to find love and trying to give love to other people. It makes the world a better place. You will be a happier person if you do it, because you're doing it for yourself. That's how you be true to yourself. To make yourself a complete person before you go and try to bring someone else into the picture. I say that from the bottom of my heart, and there will be more videos to come. If you like this video and my previous videos as part of this series, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.